Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel for my latest build video. This time we're making a British Rail Class 303 EMU from N Trains for my Glasgow themed layout, Crow Road. The reason for starting this kit was a realization that after I started Crow Road, there weren't a great deal of EMU ready to run models that were available that would kind of suit a layout based in Glasgow. Basically, I was limited to the Class 320s from River Trains, which are very nice, but I like to have more than one EMU to run. And so I started looking around for what might be available to kind of supplement the 320. I eventually came across the this Class 303 kit from N Trains, and I'll put a link in the description to um, everything to talk about, including the materials I've used. Um, so the British Rail Class 303, also known as the Blue Trains, sort of plied their trade on the North Clyde lines from like sort of the 1960s through to the early 2000s. I remember riding on them occasionally myself on my commute in from into Glasgow from Dumbarton around sort of the late 90s. I remember thinking they were quite dated compared to the newer 320s, which kind of makes sense because they're 30 years older. Um, they were eventually replaced by the Class 334s, which is another kit I found on N Trains, but yeah, that's probably for another time. So the kit itself is a 3D print. Um, it's fairly basic, but to be fair, it does describe it as such on the website. Comes as a three coach unit, and you get the body and the chassis, and also the pantograph. So I'm going to have mine powered, so I only needed actually two of the chassis. Um, for the motorized chassis, I used a Tommy Tech TM 8308R. Um, the website recommends a TM18R, but I couldn't find one of those anywhere on the internet. But I did, however, find this handy website which lists all the various different types of Tommy Tech chassis, and so I was able to find an appropriate match. Um, I start by giving the bodies a quick spray of primer before applying a few coats of Royal Match SPT orange using my cheapo airbrush. I think it only cost about 20 quid. Um, the color, although sort of sold as SPT orange, doesn't seem to match the SPT orange of the other ready to roll stock I've got. It's quite a lot brighter and less of the kind of ready orange um, that the ready to run stuff is. But yeah, colors fade over time. I think when it's on its own, it looks okay, but when you compare it to side by side, it does look a little bit quite a lot brighter. Um, with that kind of base orange in place, though, I then use some Tamiya masking tape to mask over the orange. That wasn't going to be black or yellow, and then yeah, kind of sprayed it to into those various different colors. The the Tamiya masking tape I find is pretty much essential for this kind of thing. I have used normal masking tape in the past, but this seems to stick quite heavily to the paint, and quite often the paint comes away. So yeah, the Tamiya masking tape is yeah a lot better, I find. There's a few coats of the Tamiya black paint around the windows and roof, and then I think it was Realtek yellow at front and back. I've got a decent looking kit, I think. Um, and then used a silver paint pen to do the window frames, and then that was all sealed in place using a blast or two of varnish. Now for the windows, it recommends using glue glaze, which I've used before. It's quite easy to do. You take a toothpick of glue glaze, start at one corner and drag it across to the other far corner, and you leave it to dry, and you got a window. It yeah, dead. The only issue I've had adding the windows to this kit is that the front windows of the cab are curved, um, which the glue glaze doesn't quite work for. I'm sure there's some clever technique you do to get the nice curved window, but um, yeah, I couldn't do it. You can see in this image it doesn't look the best. I think there is a new kit that's been released since then, which doesn't have the curved windows, so that'll probably be the thing to use. Um, as I said, the pantograph also comes with the kit, so that's just been painted grey. And I did have a spare electrical connector, so the metal bit that connects to the wire, from somewhere. I can't remember where I got it from, but when I was looking through my kit box, it was there. So I was like, perfect, that'll do. So that's just been glued in place. The I did some decals to the side as well. These are from Fox Transfers. I think they represent the kind of SBT later logo, I think. Um, and these are applied in the usual way. So you paint the area you want to put the decal on in gloss varnish, uh, put them on using kind of hot water and a little bit of washing up liquid, slide it on, let it dry, and then give it a blast of varnish to seal it in place. Um, for the non-powered coaches, and so the bogies for the non-powered coaches, it does recommend some Sprinter bogies, but for now I've gone with these old Farish ones from some of my old coaches. The advantage of using these rather than the ones that are recommended is they come with a coupling attached, so it's much quicker to get it up and connected. Um, the more modern bogies for pretty much all the stock I've seen now, the couplings attached to the body rather than the chassis for some reason. On to the sort of the final details. I used some Class 37 oval buffers, which seem to match the photos. I think I found these on eBay. Um, there's quite a big gap between the coaches using the couplings that I've got. And so to try and make that look a little, I use some corridor connectors, which I've had for ages. I bought them for using. I put it in between my Green Farish Mark 1 coaches. Um, yeah, looks a little bit better, but I think in all honesty, I'll need to change the bogies and um, shorten the couplings and stuff like that to get it looking pretty decent. The front of the driving units have a lot of connectors and wires and bits of piping hanging down, which makes them look characterful or ugly, depending on your point of view. And so I decided to add these using lots of leftover detailing kits. So all the detailing kits that you get with most ready-to-run diesels. Yeah, I add them to one end. I don't add them to the other, so I often have a spare set. So that's what I've used to kind of decorate, if that's the right word, the front of the each unit. Um, it's not an exact match, but I think it kind of gives it a flavour of what it looks like. And yeah, that's the kit. There are quite a few improvements I'll make. Particularly, as I already said, the bogies. Um, but on the whole, I'm happy with it. It's a nice addition to the Crow Road running stock. Something a bit different. I think I've seen any other ones around. And yeah, I made it, which is the which gives me a sense of pride whenever I run it around. Yeah, and yeah, hope you've enjoyed this latest build video. If you did, please leave a like and consider leaving a comment. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.